I'm going to talk about a software-defined data center, and I'm going to take a real-world example, the healthcare. First, who am I? I'm Arjan Timmerman. I work for a small consultancy firm in the Netherlands called Metis IT. And I also do a thing called TECHunplugged together with Enrico. There he is. But you probably know about it because you're here this afternoon. So thank you for being here. It's an interactive event, so let it be interactive. If you have a question or you want to say something, please do. Ask for the microphone, wait for the microphone, because when people look back, they can actually hear what you are saying or asking. I tried to blog at vdicloud.nl. Last couple of months lacked a little bit in time, so try to get it up and running again. And you can find me on Twitter as @ArjanTim. So that's great. When I talk to people in the US and say that I'm from the Netherlands, everybody begins about Stroopwafels. It's not Stroopwafels, guys and girls. It's Stroopwafels. But still, you can win them. We'll do a little bit of, I already heard this morning, we'll do a little bit of buzzword bingo. I'll explain later. Then I'll do a bit of hospital info, a little bit of SDDC, and the future of healthcare and SDDC. So, buzzword bingo, IT buzzword bingo. So, yeah, that's good. I think he does too many tech field days and that kind of stuff. So, I want to hear 3 from you, and then you can get some Stroopwafels. So, who wants to take the first 3 and win Stroopwafels? 3 IT buzzwords, people. Shouldn't be just 3. Is there Enrico? Oh, there we go. I've seen you.
I like Stroopwafels. How do you pronounce it? I'm Dutch.
Stroopwafels. You're Dutch, so you should know.
I should be able to pronounce that. That's a whole other story. But transformation is one.
Okay.
And I'll trump it by saying digital transformation because I use that.
Mm-hmm.
Software defined.
Yep.
And then let's go with hyperconverged is just too easy. We're going to go software-defined storage. I just want Stroopwafels.
Here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
You're Dutch. You probably have Stroopwafels already, right?
I do, but the crunching you hear in the background is going to be me eating these things. If you've not had these.
So I still got 2. You were next, right?
Well, yeah, but the other Keith took the best ones.
Just go.
I'll say. Let's see. Virtualized, DevOps, and for all the marbles, collaboration.
Okay, I'm okay with that. A couple of them are not on the slide, by the way. So I'm still learning. Next one, last one. No one?
These are really good.
Okay, I'll go with transformative.
We kind of heard that already.
Yeah, let's see what else we got here. No, not double click. Oh yeah, there's the proverbial single pane of glass. I've heard that one before.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say RESTful API.
Okay.
That one's used a lot, and you just have to throw cloud in there in some fashion of any
Absolutely.
sort of thing.
So yeah, IoT, hyperconverged, web scale, converged infrastructure. I'll get them to you because.
Thank you.
Here you go. So a little bit about the hospital world in the Netherlands, and I talked to some of you about this already. In the Netherlands, a hospital is an organization where there are multiple organizations within that one organization. And it has to do with the fact that the doctors in the hospital are their own organization within the hospital. So whatever they make up, they can just do what they want, and they do that, they buy it, and then at the end they stand with a network cable and say, shit, what do I need to do with this? And they plug it into the wall outlet, and if it works, and then they're fine. If it doesn't work, they call IT and say, I bought something, it doesn't work, come and fix it. Is it the same over here? I don't know. I see people laughing, so probably. So a little bit of history. This is a hospital room in the 1920s. As you might have guessed, no IT at all, but a lot of nurses and a lot of beds. I'll come back to that later. This is an operation room in the 1950s, 1960s. Also, no IT at all. Fast forward, just a room, a hospital room, no one in the beds. Here's probably someone who had been in the bed, but okay. So what happened? A lot of IT came in. The IT is monitoring the patient. Nurses are much more scarce. There's not many nurses anymore in the hospital. They are sitting behind the screen and getting the information there. Sure, they still go to the patient and measure some physical stuff, but most of it is done by the IT infrastructure, right? So the operation room, then it gets even worse. A lot of IT is going on in the operation room. And when you're on an operation table and something goes wrong, you don't want to be at that end where the IT infrastructure is one of the bottlenecks during your operation, right? So there are a lot of fail-safes. I'm not going into that, but believe me, there's a lot of IT going on an operation in an operation room. And if you ask people who the end user or the user of IT in the hospital is, most of the people will say to you, it's this guy, right? The doctor who will get you better or save a life. He needs the applications and appliances to make sure you get better again. Or it's this woman, the nurse, who helps the doctor get you better or deliver a baby or whatever. But if you ask people who work in a hospital, or you ask people who work in IT in a hospital, they might come up with another end user or user of the IT in a hospital world, because they might say it's this little guy or girl, I don't know, can't see, or it's this girl on an operation table. And that are all pretty pictures, but in a hospital there's serious stuff going on. And that's why the IT infrastructure in a hospital is so very, very important, because in the end the IT infrastructure is there to help this girl or anyone else that's ill and in a hospital and in need of healthcare. And if you look at what's going on in the IT environments in hospitals, I like this picture because this is what the IT teams 9 out of 10 times look like in hospitals. They are firefighters. And so why would you want to have software-defined data center in IT environments to help the IT teams get on top of everything again? Be enablers instead of firefighters. So we talked a little, not a little, we talked about it already during the panel session this morning, afternoon. But what is SDDC? And for me, SDDC, it starts with the physical data center. On top of that, we have the compute, the storage, the network, the security, whatever. And we virtualize most of it. So we do software-defined compute, software-defined storage, software-defined networking. I heard somebody say software-defined security, software-defined everything. And then most of us would say we've got a software-defined data center. And that's kind of true. Because for me, there's a little bit more. We talked about that also. We've got the private cloud, we've got the public cloud, we've got the hybrid cloud in between. And maybe the hybrid cloud is some sort of software-defined data center. There are some similarities, to say the least. And we've got our traditional IT environment. And then you probably have your software-defined data center. So I wanted to explain what hybrid cloud was for me. And I looked at Google and tried to figure out what hybrid cloud really meant. And I came up with this. So for me, a hybrid cloud is a little bit more than this, but it's putting it all together, right? Like the software-defined data center, it really needs to be a combination of public clouds, probably on-premises infrastructure, on-premises private clouds, off-premises private clouds, you name them. So what does SDC mean then? So if you asked me 2 years ago, something like that, I would probably have told you it's virtualization, right? Server virtualization, VMs, and that kind of stuff. But the last year, we hear a lot of Docker and containers and all what that comes with it. And we'll probably hear more about it this afternoon. So I'll leave it up to them to talk about that. But I think that's what software-defined compute is all about also. Storage then. You already heard a little bit about it this morning, I guess. I wasn't here, so sorry. But for me, it's commodity hardware, scalable, flexible, and accessible in multiple ways. And that can be block, that can be file, and that can be object. And the same goes for software-defined networking. But again, there are people in the room that are much more capable than me to talk about software-defined networking, and I'll leave it up to them. So where do we stand with software-defined data center? If you look at consolidation, you're laughing. You think you can do it better, right?
No pressure.
So consolidation is mostly implemented in most organizations. Also in the hospital, it's a little bit different because of reasons. But when we look at virtualization, we see compute mostly done, software-defined storage, and software-defined networking. Both of them are getting there more and more, but still need to be implemented more than the software-defined compute part, right? Automation, same thing. There's more and more attention to it. There's more and more companies and hospitals even getting there, but there needs to be much more. Self-service, same thing, and cloud. What I see, and I just talked to someone about it in the US, I think the US is ahead of Europe when it goes about cloud, but test, dev, and trial is something that's being used more and more, but also production is getting cloud ready already. So SDDC, for me, security, IT automation, application continuity. I'm not that good at English, as you probably are, sorry. That's where it's all about. And for me, I picked two. We talked about it this morning. There are more. It should be more open probably, but I picked two that are not that open. VMware is the first. And VMware is doing a lot of SDDC, and they just announced their VMware Cloud Foundation, and they are working at the moment together with IBM and Amazon. Google Cloud Platform will come probably quickly, and the integration between all of those, the management, the automation, that's where it's important. Cisco. I didn't know Cisco was really into this till I think last year, a year and a half ago. They have UCS Director for a couple of years now, which is the next slide. I'll come back to that quickly. But they took over Clicker, and that's now Cisco Cloud Center, which really gives them a great way to bring SDDC into the data center. And the thing is that most of the other SDDC companies are bound to their own hypervisor, or leaning towards their own hypervisor more than towards the other hypervisors. Cisco doesn't have its own hypervisor, so they're really good in that part, in the private cloud, and working on the public cloud also very, very good. So Cisco UCS Director, the automation tool from Cisco, binds it all together. I want to go back to the why SDDC is so important for the hospital world. And it has to do with what I already told about the way the IT infrastructures are built up at the moment in the hospital world. A lot of legacy stuff, a lot of very old OSs. And we need a way to make that better again. And software-defined data center can help there, can help automate a lot of things, make it more simple, make it more manageable, make it automated. But the Internet of Things is coming, and it's coming to the hospitals rather quickly. Things like blood pressure measuring, things like diabetes measurements that are sent directly to the doctor, and the patient doesn't have to come to the doctor anymore, and the doctor is still able to make sure that he knows what's going on with the patient, and if needed, he can call the patient in and say, there's something going on, we need to adjust the medicine you get, we need to look into it more So we need you in the hospital, and we need you to be examined even more. So that's one of the things why wearables are cute little things, and a lot of people have them, and a lot of people use them for their own sake. But in the next couple of years, we'll see more and more of that going into applications that a doctor can look into, that goes into the electronic patient dossier, and help the doctor to get you well, get you better, and help you be well again. So those are nice things, but it will get more and more, and it will get better and better. And in the end, it's all about getting the right tools to the doctors, to the nurses, to help the patients get better again. This was a slide. I think we're going to see that also a lot more. This and the next one, where 3D printing is also getting into the hospitals to help people walk again, to help people get, like this kid, be able to pick things up with, how do you call it in English? So that's why I think the SDDC is so important, and important for the healthcare industry. That was my talk. Any questions? No? Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, wait.
Specifically, where do you see SDDC landing in healthcare?
So, like I said, in the hospital, there's a lot of complexity within the IT organizations, where it would be much easier to just provide the organization with a platform. And I understand you have to get the business there also, so they need to know what the offer is to the doctors, to whoever gets the applications and the appliances in. But in the end, it needs to be, we offer this and you can hook into it, and we make it easy to hook into with an SDDC, and make IT in general much easier for the hospital organization to use, but also get things like Internet of Things or that kind of stuff into your infrastructure, right? With the right kind of security and the right kind of applications and possibilities. So I think that's where SDDC really comes in as a great thing for healthcare.
Thank you.
So, the U.S. famously, among industrialized countries, doesn't have a single-payer health care system, right? Mm-hmm. And we have this sort of very weird conglomeration of stakeholders involved.
Yep.
And I was just wondering, do you think that, certainly you could see that as an opportunity for some of this to drive down costs and improve outcomes, right? But on the other hand, it would seem like countries like the Netherlands probably have a clearer set of standards that are more universal, or no, not so much?
No, not already. Like here, you've got university hospitals and normal hospitals, to say. And with university hospitals, you see more working together and more getting into, like you said, getting everything as one big thing. Call it cloud or whatever you want to call it. Make standards on it. But the normal hospitals, you see a lot of merging going on, but the merging is almost every time within a city, within a metropole, something like that. But there's not much going on there at the moment. It will probably get better, even with Internet of Things, because there's so much data coming to them that it will probably be better in the near future to work together and get all the data together. But like I said, do you call it an EPD over here also? It's like Epic.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing is, like we also already said with the APIs, that they are not all the same. A lot of hospitals use Epic while others use Chipsoft. So how do you get those together? So there's a lot that needs to be done, but I don't think there's much difference between the Netherlands or any other country for that matters.
Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.